Hello, everyone. This is 16-Bit Chef, and welcome to our very first episode of our pre-E3 talks for 2017. Joining me is RRPG.
Well, this is not Rift Table Arcade, but by golly, we certainly are back after a dog's death, aren't we, guys?
Yeah,
I guess
and
so.
of course, the founder of this group, my good buddy, FighterXaos.
Frieza better not be coming back. That's all I'm saying. Oh wait, we're not talking about that.
Well, I just got.
Chan.
Well, I just got one word to say about that if he does return.
Oh no!
Yes. Joseph always has the answer.
Oh yeah, he does.
So to kick off this series of episodes we'll be doing for the next couple of weeks on the lead up to E3. Yep, thank you. Our first episode is going to be on our thoughts and expectations of Microsoft's show, which will be happening on June 11th, a Sunday, which is the first for the company.
Yeah.
So since I'm mostly known as the Xbox guy, I will go first. Not as unknown, unlike the last couple of years, which is a good thing for once. Overall, I expect basically not that much. I expect to see the norm from Microsoft in regards to their overall Xbox presentations. The only thing I'm really curious about is the first party they'll be showing, most specifically in regards to exclusives, and the overall idea of what Scorpio is. Because as much as I appreciate what they've been doing in regards to showing off the specs of the console through platforms like Digital Foundry, I'm still curious of what the price is going to be, about what the overall look of the design of the console is going to be, and what games are coming out as launch titles. So that's basically me.
Okay.
Nothing else?
No, not really.
Well,
That's weird. That's weird. I think I'm gonna go longer than you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So since Kyle, you are up, why don't you share your?
Well, with Microsoft, I really, like you said, don't really expect much this year out of them. I mean, I kind of expect them to go through their traditional routine with how they present themselves with their E3 briefings that they do every year. I mean, it is very surprising that they're actually doing a press conference on a Sunday for once. But if anything, I really hope that we actually do get to hear a lot about what they have in store for the Xbox One, especially with Project Scorpio, being on the horizon for a lot of us. But the thing is that I know Xbox said that they, or at least Phil Spencer said that they want to make sure that they have a really good launch for at least the Project Scorpio, and saying other stuff like, we are committed to getting a lot of support for the platform, especially like with Japanese support in the past. But, I'm going to be just kind of, I'm just going to be more indifferent. Well, not necessarily indifferent, but just be more neutral until, I'm one of those guys that says, I'll believe it when I see it. That type of approach. Because with Microsoft, they really haven't done well with the Japanese support as of recent. And I guess that kind of hit their instance of wanting to try to, hit well with Japanese support kind of ceased for me, especially with the cancellation of Scalebound earlier this back in January. It's just I want to believe that they want to get Japanese support, but at the same time I'm like, really? Or am I just saying, is it really possible? Because we already seen what the type of games that they're going to release on the horizon, especially with Sea of Thieves, which we know is from Rare, which we are undoubtedly, I do believe, is what we're going to hear is the official release date for that game, especially others like Cuphead and even State of Decay 2 and some of those others. And I expect there to be either Forza Horizon 4 or Forza 7 on the horizon. But I would say if they were going to surprise us, at least, surprise everybody at the press conference, I would say that they're probably going to have the first teaser for Halo 6. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say they would at least give us the first teaser, because it's been a little over a year or close to 2 years since Halo's Halo 5 Guardians release, and that game has been very divisive towards a lot of people, and, what?
You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's been very divisive.
In regards to Halo 5, you're not wrong.
Mm-hmm. And, with 343 Industries saying that they're wanting to take things back to basics and where they're going to have Master Chief being the main protagonist of Halo 6, it's going to be very interesting to see where they go with this third installment of what do they call this trilogy? I know they had the
Reclaimer Saga.
Yeah, the Reclaimer Saga.
It was originally called the Reclaimer Trilogy, but they extended it to the Reclaimer Saga. And to jump in for a bit, I'm glad you brought up those two specific points, Kyle, because as much as I do firmly believe that when Spell Sensor wants to bring, more Japanese titles, I don't care if they're exclusives or non-exclusives, I do firmly believe, because we have seen some titles come from Japanese publishers. Like, it hasn't been confirmed as of yet, but the recently announced game Code Vein, that's coming out next year, it did say specifically platforms, and we know that Namco Bandai has been a huge supporter of Xbox throughout the years. Granted, more specifically at the 360 era last gen, but they have been helping out the publisher this generation too. But where it comes, I think where you're coming from is, I believe you. I believe we're going to see more third-party titles, specifically Japanese, but when it comes to first-party exclusives, I'm on the same boat with you. I want to see more like we have seen with obviously Nintendo and Sony, but they need to put their money where the mouth is.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm not saying that there's no Japanese support on the Xbox One, which there has been, and companies like Capcom and Namco have been very fervent on the platform, and even Konami as well, especially when it comes to Metal Gear Survive. But I'm just saying, for JRPGs and that kind of stuff, that seems like more of a sunken ship on the platform, if you get where I'm coming from.
Right.
Because Japanese RPGs are kind of more my thing. But, with other games like, Tekken 7 coming out for the platform and that kind of stuff, yeah, I wholeheartedly applaud him for that. But, I'm kind of like one of those guys who says that, there needs to be more than what we already seen from Japanese, the traditional stuff that we've seen.
Oh, absolutely. But also it's kind of funny, like when I see people cry about not really cry, but like whine about saying, "Oh, we only get the same games like Halo, Forza, and Gears." It's like, well, you can say the same thing about Sony and Nintendo's output.
Mm-hmm.
They're their key franchises. Yeah, I agree more that there needs to be a hell of a lot more diversity. But what sells is going to sell to their consumers, just like it does with the rivals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then again, it all comes down to business too. So, I mean, I can understand why Microsoft canceled Scalebound, but at the same time, I really hope that they, actually succeed well going forward, especially with they have.
I think they will.
With what they have with Project Scorpio, but we'll have to see. But other than that, I can't really say much else about what I'm expecting from Microsoft. I'm at least expecting a few other surprises instead of what we already know about with some of the games that are currently very close to being released, like we said, Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 and all that other good stuff. But hopefully they manage to surprise me, because they always have surprised me to some extent with every E3 that they've done. But I kind of have
true.
I kind of have a suspicion that they may have something up their sleeve to, surprise at least people like me, at least. But I'll have to keep a reserved thought when we get around to watching the press conference. But other than that, I can't really think of anything else that Microsoft is going to do that's going to really, just shock the world. I mean, they do like those colorful controllers and that kind of stuff, or they have those new dashboard updates that they do every year. But who knows? But other than that, not a lot else that I can think of. But yeah, anyway, that's me.
Now we get to you, the big kahuna himself. What do you think?
Now, here's what I'm expecting. I'm going to break this down. What I'm expecting first is, of course, the Xbox Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
What it is, I'm asking what it is because they say it's Xbox One but more powerful, but I don't know if they're going to market it that way. I'm hoping that they market it smartly, but this is Microsoft I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
And
that's
they've done
true.
some bad decisions before, but Phil Spencer is smarter than the rest of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It could
yeah.
be a mistake to market it as a wholly new generation when it's not, when it's way more powerful than the Xbox One, but not necessarily a next gen step in power. So I'm hoping they say this is just for the pro gamers. You guys out there that like that pro but want an Xbox, is what you get. I'm
See,
expecting that.
I agree.
Mhm.
Thank you for bringing that up because I do agree with that, Jerry. Because basically, I do believe that this console is not only stronger than the Xbox One, but I think it's a little bit higher in specs than the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah.
That said, if they said it's like this is our next generation, I can understand because let's be blunt, the Xbox One, they've been doing good with 20 to 25 million units sold. They have been doing as grand as PlayStation has. Like, I can understand what they were thinking of, but at the same time, it would hurt them because it's not a ninth gen console in design.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So on top of that, I also, this is what I'm expecting again. I'll go into hopes. I'm expecting more of what they said about multiplayer. A matter of fact, when they showed more games, I'm expecting more multiplayer games. I'm not expecting completely multiplayer. I don't think that article, Jeff's told me off camera that, and I agree with him, that people misinterpreted what Phil Spencer was saying in an article. I don't think he's giving up on single player.
No.
But I do think this show we're going to see a whole lot of focus on multiplayer. Matter of fact, I could see something with Battlefield, because Call of Duty went to PlayStation. Xbox might have gotten some Battlefield support to sweeten the deal for their side.
You know what? You have a point because every time we see an EA specific IP, if it's not Star Wars, but specifically EA owned, it's always with Microsoft and rarely with Sony in regards to marketing deals.
Yep.
But you bring up the Scorpio because I forgot to bring this up with both you guys. And I apologize, Kyle, because this is a very good question. Regarding Scorpio, since this is basically the counterpart to PlayStation's PS4 Pro,
Right.
what should be the sweet spot, like in regards to price?
$4.99.
Yeah, I would say $4.99.
I agree.
That just seems like it would make the most sense. I mean, would it be profitable at that price point? It probably not right at the get-go, but maybe about a year or maybe a few months down the line, or at least half a year or at least a year, then maybe it would be. But hopefully they get to that point where they actually do have a system that's profitable, because I think that's one of the things that Microsoft has not managed to succeed well whenever they started the Xbox brand, is that their systems have not always been profitable at the get-go. So hopefully they have found their comfort spot to where with every unit that they sell of the Project Scorpio, they'll at least get some of that money back towards their towards their bank or whatever, their business revenue or whatever.
Profit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But continue, Jerry.
All right. So, and I'm also expecting them to push their new Netflix style gaming pass deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting that to be pushed heavily. Push it for SummerSlam. They're gonna. It's gonna be Game Pass versus PlayStation Now.
And you really think PlayStation Now is gonna win? Come on.
I didn't say anything about it.
I know. I just thrown it out there.
I didn't say anything about that.
It's really funny that you bring that up too, Jerry. Do you think that Microsoft will, and especially you, Jeff, do you think Microsoft will actually have like a something that's similar to PlayStation Now, to where not only would you be able to stream Xbox One games, but also Xbox 360 games via PC as well?
Via PC.
Via PC,
they've gotta be working us. I mean,
because they did when they first announced Windows 10 2 years ago.
I gotta assume that they. I mean, especially since they're Microsoft, it's like, hey, our rival works with our OS. Why can't we?
Mm-hmm.
Because I still want to
And-
see because
yeah.
I want to see Rare Replay on the PC.
Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
And I believe that's all what I'm expecting. Now I'm gonna go to my hopes.
Okay.
We got a comment. We do read your comments, by the way. So keep commenting. Give us what you give us
Sweet.
what you think is gonna happen. And the comment mentioned that this guy says he wants Splinter Cell to make a comeback. And
Yes.
Splinter Cell, historically speaking, is an Xbox property. I mean, I believe it's gone cross-plat before, but
It has been multi-plat. You are right, but it originally started as an
Yes, it's-
Xbox-only title.
Mhm.
The original.
Yeah.
so if they unveil a new Splinter Cell, that'd be great. Especially with whatever Kojima's got with Death Stranding, that's a good counter,
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah,
I
Let
also
I was gonna say, let Death Stranding be a PlayStation exclusive while leaving the whatever new Splinter Cell that Ubisoft has as a Xbox exclusive for the time being.
I agree, but at the same time, it's going to be counter to what Spencer said a year ago, saying that they don't want to put money towards timed exclusives, and B, if it does become a time exclusive or even worse than exclusive, you know those people are going to come out of the woodwork and just scream as usual, saying, "Oh, it had never been exclusive."
yes, it has Splinter Cell.
Yeah, but you know, there's idiots out there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. I mean, remember
So-
Splinter Cell Conviction? That's still a
Mhm.
Xbox 360 console exclusive, even though it's still out on PC as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I also forgot to mention about the Scorpio. Going back to Scorpio, I just saw what I wrote. See, this is why I give myself notes nowadays.
Good job. Yeah.
Will the Xbox Scorpio come in different SKUs?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah.
I think they're going to pull the same plan they did with the Xbox One S when it debuted last year,
Oh, yeah.
having a 500 gig, 1 terabyte, and for a limited time, a 2 terabyte. And it makes sense too, because if it's a powerful beast, they can range from 450 to at worst 550/600 for the 2 terabyte.
I also forgot that I expected the new Halo, like Double RPG said, and that zombie game. I forgot the name.
State of
Anarchy
Decay 2.
something.
No, State of K2.
State of Decay. Anarchy something. See, look at that. I'm way off.
Yeah, I even mentioned State of Decay 2, that hopefully we will hear a release date.
And
Oh, yeah.
going back to what I hope I see more on Phantom Dust,
Mm.
and I hope Double R brought up Japan stuff, and I was writing that something down about when he mentioned about Japan and how Scalebound got canceled. I was thinking, and I wrote to myself, Platinum, the wrong studio to pick to go after Japanese market. They are way too stretched. They are stretched thin. They have too little. Jeff, how big are they? 150 men strong?
I think it's averaging between 100 to 200.
Yeah.
But it's funny you bring that up because, and I completely agree. It sucked to hear the cancellation, but to fully put the blame on Microsoft is unjustly fair because how many games were that one company was making in the span of also creating Scalebound?
Oh, geez.
Like, wasn't it 6 titles?
Yeah.
I would think so, yeah.
So they're way too stretched. Honestly, I wrote to myself, if you had to pick, if it can't be Namco Bandai, which Jeff said, Square Enix has done stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done something, another RPG just for them, like they did for 360 back in the day.
You know what? I just thought of something, and you just brought up thanks to mentioning Square Enix. You know what Square Enix unjustifiably did recently with Deus Ex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if Microsoft bought the IP of Deus Ex, or even Thief, from Square Enix?
That'd be nice. Give them more exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. Now I'm really done. Okay. Those are my hopes. and
I'd
what
say
I'm
that works.
expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, take us home.
Okay, so overall, I think our impressions of the upcoming show, once again on Sunday, June 11th, is expect the usual show we get with a couple surprises dashed across. That doesn't mean we don't we expect it to be a bad show. We want it to be a good show, but we kind of understand Microsoft's motif going into E3 each every year.
The mindset.
It's predictable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Predictable.
Like
but
what
in
we
some ways, you can say the same with both any other company, like especially with Sony and Nintendo. They have their predictable spots and moments too.
And I'm glad we're not forcing ourselves to do third parties unless you guys say so.
Yeah.
Again, if you guys want us to talk about third parties near the end of this pre-show, please let your voice be heard.
Definitely.
Because if not, then we're not. But Bethesda, I can see it just saying, more of the same. But Skyrim Legends or Elder Scrolls Legends or whatever that card game is.
Oh God.
And more Dishonored.
I'm just gonna say, if we do talk about third parties, me and Bethesda, that's gonna be a fun talk.
Anyways, go ahead and keep taking us home. Sorry.
But yes, but that was our talk for our first episode back, not only as a group, but also specifically for our pre-E3 show on the road to the event. I hope you guys like our thoughts on the upcoming show from Microsoft, and next week we'll be on
Sony.
We'll be on Sony, right? Yeah. Okay. But for I'm Sixty with Jeff.
I'm Double RPG.
Whoops.
It's okay.
And those two were Double RPG and FighterXaos, and we'll see you guys next week for Sony.
Peace out.
And we're